Before you unlock that phone and look at the number, give me 60 seconds first. 60 seconds. That is all. The number is not going anywhere. It has been sitting there since the 15th. It will still be there when we are done. But you have been awake since 4:45. And I do not think it is the number keeping you up. I think it is what you have decided the number means about you. Is any of this your morning? You carried the mail in on Tuesday and set it on the counter, and the one on top is still folded shut. You checked the balance twice before you believed it. You moved the copay to next month, and you called that a plan. You have not told your daughter because she would try, and she does not have it either. You heard the car make that sound in the driveway again, and you turned the radio up over it. You did the math in the parking lot before you went into the store. If even one of those is you, stay with me. Nobody handed this to you. You were already awake. It found you here, in the dark, in this kitchen, before anybody else in the house moved. Somebody knew you would be up. So put the phone face down for 1 hour. It has already told you everything it knows. It has been telling you the same thing for 11 months. Let something else talk this morning. Stay with me, because there is one debt with your name on it that was settled a long time ago, and you have been making payments on it anyway. Before anything else, do 3 small things with me. One at a time. Take both hands off that mug. Let it sit there and stay hot without you holding it. Now roll your shoulders back once, all the way back. Then let them drop. Now turn your hands over in your lap. Palms up, open, like you are not carrying anything, because for the next hour, you are not. Good. Now look down the hallway. There is a stripe of light lying flat on that floor that was not there 20 minutes ago. It is stretched across the boards, and it is getting longer while you look at it. It will reach the leg of this table before you finish that mug, and it did not ask one thing in this house for permission. Morning does not negotiate. It just arrives. Here is the word I want to put in your hands. It is short. It was said out loud by Jesus to people who were arguing with him about who owed what. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. Free indeed. Not free eventually. Not free once the balance clears. Not free when somebody finally tells you that you are square. Free indeed means free all the way down. Free in the part of you that nobody mails a statement to. That word is not a wish, it is a verdict, and it was handed down about you. Say it once, under your breath, in this kitchen where nobody else can hear you. Free indeed. Keep that word in your mouth, because you are going to need it before the sun is all the way up. Here is what this next hour holds, so you know your own thing is coming. We will pray 5 times. I will name each one before we start it, so you can hear yours arrive. First, over what you owe, the number, the statement, the month that does not reach the end of itself. Then, over your body, the sleep you are not getting, the appointment you keep moving, the pills you have been splitting. Then over the people at your table, and the one who is not at it. Then over the name that got stuck to you somewhere along the way, the one you would never say out loud, but you answer to it anyway. That 4th one is the reason this morning exists. And last, over the next 16 hours, this actual day, hour by hour, stay all the way to the end, because the 5th one is for the hour of today you are quietly bracing for, including whatever is in that mailbox. Let me say out loud what you have quietly come to believe about the money you owe. You believe it is a report card. Not out loud, You would never put it that way. But somewhere in the last few years, the balance stopped being a number and started being a grade. It became the sum of every decision you ever made. Every time you helped somebody you could not afford to help. Every month the hours got cut, and you covered the gap with plastic. Every emergency that came at the wrong time, and they all come at the wrong time, and now it sits there like a verdict on your whole life. I want to take that apart this morning, not with encouragement, with scripture. Here is the first thing. In the law God gave Israel, debt was not a character flaw. It was a condition. It was something that happened to people, the way weather happens to people. And God built a door into it. Every 7th year, in the book of Deuteronomy, there was a release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. Not because everyone suddenly paid, because the calendar turned, and God said, enough. Sit with that. In Israel, debt release was not a miracle. It was on the schedule. The God who wrote that into the law of an entire nation is not standing in your kitchen this morning, tapping his foot at you. Does that sound too easy? Then let me tell you about a woman who did not get a schedule. She got a knock at the door. Her husband had been one of the prophets, a good man, by every account anybody gave. And when he died, he left her exactly 2 things, 2 sons and a debt. Picture the house. It is small. It goes dark early because there is nothing left to burn. She has already sold what could be sold. The shelf where the good things used to sit is bare, and she has stopped letting her eyes go there. And the man her husband owed is coming today. Under the law of that time, a creditor could take children, not out of cruelty, as collection. Her boys would work off what their father borrowed for years in another man's house, and she would stand in that doorway and watch them walk up the road. That is what was at stake, not her credit, her sons. So she goes to the prophet Elisha, and she does not have a speech ready. She says the whole thing in one breath. My husband is dead. You knew he feared the Lord. And the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen. And Elisha asks her a strange question. What do you have in the house? She almost says nothing. You can hear it in how she answers. Not anything in the house, save a pot of oil. Save a pot of oil. She said it like an apology, like she was embarrassed she had brought it up at all. Here is what she could see. 1 jar, 2 boys, a man walking up the road toward her door. Here is what she could not see. The oil was never the limit. The jars were. Elisha tells her to go out and borrow vessels. Empty ones, from every neighbor on that street, and do not borrow a few. Now think about what that cost her. Everybody on that road knew what her husband owed. Everybody knew what was coming for her boys, and she had to walk up to those doors, one at a time, and ask for empty jars, and not explain why. She had to carry other people's containers back past every one of those windows, looking like a woman who had come apart. The waiting cost her the last thing she owned, which was her dignity in front of the neighbors. Then she shut the door. That detail is in the text and it matters. She shut the door. Her boys brought her the jars and she poured, and it did not stop. It filled one. It filled the next. It filled every one of them. It stopped only when she ran out of room. She went back to the prophet, and he told her, sell the oil, pay the debt, and live on what is left. Pay the debt. God did not erase the number, he met it. Now come back to this kitchen. You are not going to find oil in that cabinet. I will not stand here and tell you a jar is coming, because I do not know that, and neither does anyone else talking to you at 5 in the morning. But look at what actually happened in that house. She was asked what she had. She said nothing, and she was wrong. That is the part I want in your hands. She was wrong about her own house, not because she was foolish, because when you are frightened, the inventory in your head only counts what is missing. So what is in your house this morning? There is a woman who has not slept right in 11 months and got up and made the coffee anyway. There is somebody carrying this alone rather than laying it on her daughter. There is a mug, a table, a stripe of light on the hallway floor, and a God who was in this room before the debt was. That is not nothing. That is a pot of oil. And she is not the only one who could not see it from where she stood. There was a man beside a dried-up creek bed, counting days, listening for wings, fed by birds, because God chose a strange way when the ordinary ways were gone. There was a foreign widow in a barley field, gathering what the reapers dropped on purpose, with no idea the field belonged to the man who would change her entire life. There was a boy sold by his own brothers, who spent years in a cell and became the reason 7 countries ate. David wrote it at the end of a long life. I have been young, and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken. Paul wrote it from a jail cell. My God shall supply all your need, according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus, not according to your balance, according to his riches. But there is something underneath all of this you have not been told, and it is going to sting a little before it helps. Here it is, 1 sentence. What you owe is a number. What you are worth is a name. Those two have never once been written in the same ledger. Now let me say the uncomfortable half, because I do not think that sentence landed yet. You have been paying this debt twice, once to whoever holds the note, and once to yourself, every single morning, in a currency that never reduces the principal by $1. The first payment is legitimate. You owe it. You know it. You are handling it. The second one is the one taking years off you, and I can hear exactly what you are thinking. You are thinking that is a very tidy thing to say when it is not your name at the top of that statement. You are thinking, fine, tell me my worth is not my balance. And then the first of the month comes, and the balance is still what decides whether I sleep. You are thinking somebody who does not know what one unexpected bill does to a month should be careful what he calls a feeling. That is fair. I am not going to argue with you, and you are right that a sentence does not pay anything. You have been handed sentences before. People at church have handed you sentences with a hand on your arm and the best intentions in the world. They did not move the number. They did not help you sleep. After a while, you learned to nod and change the subject. So let me answer it straight. I am not saying the number does not matter. It matters. It is real, it has consequences, and you are living inside them. Anybody who tells you to simply have faith about it is selling you something. Here is what I am saying instead. The number is a fact about your circumstances. It is not a fact about you. And somewhere along the way, without ever deciding to, you let it become one. Do you remember when that changed? Probably not. It does not happen on a day. It happens the way a habit happens. First it is a problem, then it is a worry, then it is a secret, and then one evening you catch yourself apologizing for taking up space at your own family's table, and you could not say why if somebody asked. Paul wrote one sentence about this that people rush straight past. He said God took the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross. The handwriting, the itemized list, the document with your name at the top, and every line filled in. He did not negotiate it down. He did not settle it for less. He took the paper off the counter and nailed it somewhere your hands cannot reach it. And one letter over, he wrote this: "There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus." Now, not eventually, now, at this balance, on this morning, in this kitchen. Let me show you what you have actually been doing. There is a porch light burning somewhere on your street, right this minute. It has been on all night. It was switched on years ago for somebody coming home late on a dark road, and it made sense then. Somebody stood at that switch and flipped it up because there was a person out there and they wanted her to see the steps. But she came home a long time ago. She came in and hung up her coat and went to bed, and she has been asleep in that house for years, and the light is still on. Nobody is being helped by it now. It is just running. It shows up on the bill every month, a little at a time, so small, nobody ever looks hard enough to ask why it is still burning. Nobody in that house is being careless. Nobody even remembers making the decision. The switch simply never got flipped back down. That is the watching you have been doing. You turned it on for a good reason. There was a season when you had to count every dollar out loud, in your own head, or the whole thing came apart. That vigilance saved you once. It was the right light for that night. But the night ended. Nobody came and told you. And you have been paying for that bulb every month since. How long has that light been on? You are allowed to reach up and turn it off. The debt stays on the books. I am not pretending otherwise, but the verdict comes off you. And notice who wrote the name. You did not. Your father did not. Your daughter did not. The people who eventually found out did not. It was written down before a single one of them ever met you. You are not a balance with a woman attached to it. You are a woman with a balance, and only one of those two has your name on it, in God's own handwriting, and it is not the number. So let me name your actual day out loud, before anybody else in this house is awake to hear it. The mortgage has 9 years left on it. You know the exact number of payments remaining. You have counted them more than once, late, sitting up. There is a car payment. There is the electric bill that went up in July and never came back down. There is a credit card statement on that counter with a minimum payment printed on it that both of you know is a joke, you and the company that printed it. The paycheck comes and it is already spent before it lands. The direct deposit hits, and by that afternoon it has gone into 4 places, and you did not buy one thing you wanted. There was an overdraft in March. You still think about it. The Social Security check comes on the 3rd, and you know what day of the month it is by how the grocery list looks. You put gas in the car $10 at a time now. You have not said the word retirement out loud in about 4 years because there is no version of that sentence that ends anywhere good. There is a savings account with your name on it and almost nothing in it. It has stayed almost nothing through 2 jobs and 1 very hard year. You have been splitting the pills and you have not told the doctor, because it would turn into a conversation about the copay, and you do not want to have that conversation with somebody in a white coat standing over you. You moved the follow-up appointment twice. You have started doing the math out in the grocery store lot. You sit in the car with the engine off and go through it on your phone before you walk in. That way, you do not have to do it at the register. in front of anybody. You stopped having people over. Not on purpose. It happened the way the porch light happened. You get to the church parking lot early and sit there a minute before you go in, because the version of yourself that walks through that door has to be assembled first. Is any of that close? Here is the part nobody adds up. Debt does not only take money. It takes the ordinary things. It takes the invitation you did not send. It takes the trip to see your grandchildren that you keep moving to next spring. It takes the anniversary coming up, and the way you have already decided to keep it small and call that a preference. It took the thing you used to be, which was the person other people came to. How long has it been since somebody sat at that table who was not family? And the loneliest part is that nobody knows, not really. Your daughter does not know the size of it. The women you sit with on Sunday do not know. You have gotten very good at the word fine. Fine is the cheapest word in the language, and you have been paying for it for years. Somebody asks how you are doing at the coffee hour, and you say fine, and they move on. And something in you goes a little further underground. You are not lying to them. You are protecting them. But protection and hiding start to look identical after enough months, and by now you cannot always tell which one you are doing. So, let me tell you about a man who was on the opposite side of all this, and who was also completely alone. His name was Zacchaeus, and he was in the debt business. He collected taxes for Rome, in Jericho, and he was not a small operator. The text says he was chief among the publicans. He had men under him. He was rich, and everybody in that town knew exactly how he had gotten rich. He had taken it from them, a little over the legal amount every time. That is how the whole system was built to work. So picture the life. He had money, and nowhere to spend it that mattered. Nobody's table, nobody's wedding. He walked down streets where the conversation stopped. He had a name that had turned into a category. Whatever his mother hoped when she chose it, that was gone. The name meant a thing people were, not a person he was. And Jesus was coming through town. Zacchaeus wanted to see him, not for a favor. The text never says he wanted anything. He just wanted to see. And he could not, because he was short. And that crowd was not going to open for a man like him. So a wealthy, middle-aged man in expensive clothes ran ahead down the road and climbed a sycamore tree. Sit with how humiliating that is. He knew what he looked like up there. He did it anyway. Then Jesus stopped underneath that tree, and he looked up, and he did the one thing nobody in Jericho had done in years. He said the man's name, Zacchaeus, "Make haste, and come down, for today I must abide at thy house." Not, "I have heard about you," not, "We should discuss your business practices." His name, out loud, in the street, in front of the people who had stopped using it. And then an announcement that this man's house was where Jesus intended to eat. The crowd hated it. They murmured, every one of them, that he was gone to be guest with a man that is a sinner. And Zacchaeus stood up in his own house and gave half of everything away and offered fourfold to anybody he had cheated. Notice the order. Nobody made him do that first. He was named first. The giving came after, because it finally could. Now you are not Zacchaeus. You did not take anything from anybody. That difference is real, and it is not small. But you know that other thing he had, the name that stopped being a name and became a category, the room that goes a little quiet, the self you assemble in the parking lot before you go in. And what Jesus did on that road, He did before one thing got fixed, before any money moved, before Zacchaeus said a word about paying anybody back. The naming came first. That is the order in all of these. A widow in Zarephath was down to a handful of meal, making a last meal for herself and her son, and a stranger asked her for bread first, named, then fed. Peter was sent to pull a fish out of the water and find the tax money in its mouth. It is the strangest provision in the whole book, and it happened because the bill was real, and Jesus did not pretend it was not. Jesus said this plainly to people who worked all day and still came up short. "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And David, who spent years owing his own life to men who wanted it, wrote this down: "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee." Sustain, not remove. Hold you up while you carry it. Put your hand flat down on that table, because it is time to pray, and the first one is about money. The first prayer is over what you owe. Father, you have already seen the figure printed along the bottom of that page. You saw it before the envelope came. You knew it before she stopped opening them on the day they arrive. You see the mortgage with 9 years on it. You see the car payment. You see the electric bill that went up and stayed up. You see the paycheck that is spent before it clears. Lord, she is not asking you to be impressed with how she has managed this. She is asking you to look at it. So look at it, Father. Every line, the line she has stopped reading, the one at the bottom that she checks first and then covers with her thumb. You fed a whole nation on bread that came down in the dark and could not be stored. You filled a widow's house using jars she had to go and beg for. You put a coin in the mouth of a fish because the tax was due, and Jesus would not have his friend shamed over it. You have never once been embarrassed by a number, and if that is you this morning, hear me. God is not standing over that statement with his arms folded. He has gone over it. He went over it before you did. Father, make her enough where she is short, not in a way she has to explain to anybody, in ordinary ways, a month that stretches further than it should, the thing that does not break this week, help that arrives and does not humiliate her to receive it. And God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that ye always having all sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work. All sufficiency, in all things, written to people who had less than she has. Lord, take the shame off the money. Leave the arithmetic, that is hers to do. Take the shame. She has carried both for years, and only one of them was ever hers. Your number has never once caught God off guard. The second prayer is over your body. Father, you made this body, and you have kept it going through 11 months of 5 o'clock mornings. You see what the sleep is like now. You see her at 2 in the morning doing the arithmetic again with her eyes shut. You see the shoulder that has hurt since spring and never got looked at. You see the prescription she has been splitting. Lord, you know why she has been splitting it. You know exactly what she was weighing when she decided to. And I am not going to pray about that decision, because it belongs between her and a doctor who can actually help her. I am going to pray she picks up the phone today. That is not a small prayer. She has been putting it off for reasons that made sense at 4 in the morning and make less sense in daylight. Father, give her the nerve to make the follow-up appointment she has moved twice. Give her the words for the front desk. Give her somebody at that desk who is quiet and kind about the copay instead of loud about it. And if that is you, hear me. Taking care of that body is not a failure of faith. It is care of the only one you were given. Jesus stopped for bodies. He stopped for them constantly, and he never once told anybody that being sick was their own doing. He healeth the broken in heart, and bindeth up their wounds. Bindeth up. That is not language for a feeling. That is language for a bandage, wrapped by somebody being careful with you. Lord, give her sleep tonight that she does not have to earn. Give her one morning that begins later than 4:45. Let the tiredness she has been hiding become something she can lay down instead of decorate. And Father, wherever her body is doing something she does not know about yet, be in that room too. Be in it before she is. Your body is not a debt you are behind on. The third prayer is over the people at your table, and the one who is not at it. Father, you know her daughter's name. You know how the last conversation ended, and you know she has gone back over that thread more than once since. You know about the son. You know about the chair nobody sits in. Lord, she has not told them the size of this. She has protected them from it, and she calls that love, and mostly it is. But it has been lonely, and you have watched every day of it. So move first, Father, because she has run out of ways to. Let the phone ring today, and let it be one of them, about nothing. A call with no reason attached to it. Let the grandchildren be nearer than the miles say they are. Let one of them send her something with no occasion attached. A picture, 3 words. Something she will keep on that phone and look at more than once. And where the marriage has gone quiet, where 2 people move around one kitchen with not much left to say, do the slow thing there. Not a speech. 1 sentence warmer than the last one was. And if that is you this morning, hear me. The silence in your house is not evidence about what you are worth. Jesus wept at a graveside before he did anything useful there. He did not rush past the grief to get to the fixing. Lord, keep her from the thing she does when the anniversary comes, where she makes it small so nobody has to spend anything on her. Let somebody make a fuss over her this year. Father, you have never liked a person being alone with something heavy. Do not leave her alone with this one. You are not the burden in your family, and you never were. The 4th prayer is over the name that got stuck to you. Father, this is the one she would never have asked for. Somewhere in the last few years she stopped being a woman who owes money and became a woman who is behind. It moved from a thing she has to a thing she is. Nobody said it to her face. She said it to herself, quietly, every morning, for years, and then she started answering to it. Lord, you have never once called her that. Your son stood in a street in Jericho and said a man's name out loud in front of people who had stopped using it. Jesus called a woman daughter who had spent 12 years and every coin she owned on physicians. He called Peter by name on a beach after Peter had failed publicly and knew it. You have never introduced anybody by their worst season. Father, take the label off her, not the balance. I am not asking you to lie about arithmetic. Take the label. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Entangled again. That word is for somebody already cut loose, who got caught in the same rope on the way out. Lord, cut what is still wrapped around her. Cut what she has wrapped around herself. And if that is you this morning, hear me. There is a difference between a debt you are carrying and a name you are wearing. One of them is real. The other one you can set down on that table, right now, before the sun is all the way up. Set it down. It was never yours to wear. And Father, if she picks it back up at noon, out of habit, meet her there and take it again. She has worn it a long time. It will take more than one morning. You are not what you owe, and you never have been. The last prayer is over the next 16 hours, this actual day, hour by hour. Father, in about 40 minutes, she is going to pick up that phone, and the number will still be there. Be in that moment. Let her read it as information and not as an accusation. Go out to the driveway with her. Be in the car when it makes that sound. Be at whatever work today holds. Be with the manager who has no idea what she carried in with her. Be in the hours where she is pleasant to people who will never know what her morning cost her. Father, at about 4 this afternoon there will be mail. Be at that box with her. Let her open it standing up. Let her open it today, instead of setting it on the counter for a week. And whatever is inside it, let her still be able to eat her dinner. Lord, be in the drive home, when she is tired, and the guard comes down, and the arithmetic starts again in the quiet of the car. Be in the evening. Be there at 9 o'clock, when the house is dark, and there is nobody left to be strong in front of. Be there at 2 in the morning if she wakes. And if that is you this morning, hear me. He is not only the God of the hour you set aside for him, he is the God of 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Father, give her one good hour today that she did not plan for, one she notices while it is still happening. She has had so few of those lately. Let her be surprised by something small today, something with nothing to do with money at all, that she did not have to arrange herself. In Jesus' name, I am asking all of it. He will be with you at 4 o'clock. Now stop talking and let him say it back to you. If the Father could sit down on the edge of that bed this morning, Scripture already tells us what he would say. Hear it in his words. I see you. I have seen you at this table every morning for 11 months. I saw you before the alarm. I saw you after it. And I have never once needed you to explain yourself to me. I know the number. I knew it before the paper did. I called you by your name a long time ago. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. That was not about a season going well. It was about who you belong to, and it has not been revised since. You are not on my books. You are in my hand. I have never kept a ledger on you. I have never needed one. The only record I keep of you is your name, and I have known it since before there was a Dayton for you to live outside of. I saw you at 8 years old. I saw you at 26, holding a baby at 3 in the morning, certain you were doing it wrong. I saw the years nobody photographed. None of those were the good years and the bad years to me. They were all just you. I know what it cost you. I was there when you sat in that parking lot with the engine off, doing the arithmetic on your phone. You did it there so nobody at the register would see your face. I was there when somebody asked how you were, and you said fine. I watched you walk out to the car and sit in it a minute before you turned the key. I was there when you moved that appointment the second time and told yourself it was the calendar. I was there when you decided not to tell your daughter because you would not be one more weight on a young woman who is already tired. I was there the night you stopped inviting people over, though you did not know that was the night. I was there in the church parking lot while you sat in the car putting your face on. I was already inside the building. I was also in the car. I know what it costs a woman to be the one everybody assumes is fine. None of it was invisible, not 1 hour of it. You think of those as the years you got behind. I have a different name for them. Those were the years you kept getting up. I have not left. The page where I promised I would never leave you is a page about money. That was not an accident. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For he hath said, I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. I put that sentence exactly there, for a woman who would find it at 5 in the morning, with a statement on her counter. I did not leave when it got worse. I have never once stayed only for the good stretch. I was in the jail at Philippi at midnight, with 2 men whose backs were open. I did not get them out before the singing. I was there during the singing. I do not require you to sing. I only want you to know where I am. And I was in the ravine with the man who wanted to die under the tree. I did not scold him. I fed him and let him sleep, twice, before I said 1 word to him about anything. I am not harder on you than I was on him. I have never been harder on you than you are on yourself. Not once in 11 months. I am doing something where you cannot see it. I am not going to tell you what the number will be a year from now. I have never dealt with anybody that way, and I will not start with you. A promise like that would turn you into a woman waiting on an outcome. I did not come for that. I came for you. Here is what I will tell you instead. I am taking the fear out of a room you have not walked into yet. I am making you into somebody who can hold a hard thing without it becoming her name. That is slow work. It does not feel like anything while it is happening. You will only recognize it later. From a year you cannot see from here. I am also doing something in the people around you, in your daughter, who is not as far away as the silence makes her seem, in somebody who is going to be kind to you this week for no reason they could explain. You have been praying about the number. I have been working on the woman. That is not me ignoring the number. That is me starting where it lasts. And I am doing the carrying myself. Even to your old age I am he, and even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry, and will deliver you. I made you, I will carry you. In my mouth, those are the same sentence. Here is what I ask of you today. Bring it to me first, before the phone, before the mail, before you rehearse it again in the car. Say the number out loud to me once, in this kitchen. Let it be a thing you told me, instead of a thing you hid. Do not carry it alone until noon. Open the one on the counter. Not because I need you to be brave, because a thing you have not looked at gets bigger in the dark, and you have been living in the dark with that one since Tuesday. And say my name once today, out loud, when nobody is listening. Not a prayer, just the name. You will be surprised what it does to a kitchen. And when you pass that mirror on your way out, do not do the thing you do. Do not look at yourself the way a creditor looks at a balance. There was a father in a story my son told, who saw his boy coming while he was yet a great way off. That man did not stand at the gate with a figure in his head. He ran. I have been running toward you for 11 months. You did not hear it, because you were doing math. That is not my word for you. Every line of it is his, written down long before you were born. Those are his words. Now here are yours, and I want you to say them out loud. Now I want you to say these out loud. Not in your head. Out loud. Nobody is up. Nobody can hear you. And you cannot sound foolish, because there is no one here to think it. Start here. I declare that this morning belongs to God, and not to my balance. I declare that I have been called by my name. I declare it because it is written down. He has redeemed me. He has called me by my name. I am his. I am not a number. I am not a category. I am not the sum of my worst 4 years. I refuse the name I have been answering to. I refuse to introduce myself, even silently, as the woman who is behind. I refuse to apologize for taking up room at my own table. I refuse to keep a porch light burning for a night that already ended. That light goes off today. I refuse to shrink the anniversary so nobody has to spend on me. I refuse to miss a good day because I am braced for a bad one. I refuse to be the last person in this house who gets any kindness. I refuse to hand this day over to a number before it starts. I have done that 11 months running. Not this one. I receive what was done about the debt I could never cover. The handwriting that was against me was nailed to a cross. It was not reduced. It was not renegotiated. It was taken out of the way. There is therefore now no condemnation for me. None this morning. None at 4 o'clock this afternoon. I will not confuse arithmetic with judgment. I will not read a statement as a verdict on my life. I will not hide this from my daughter to protect a woman who is already tired. I will not say fine when I mean something else. Not every time, but not never again either. I am carried. Even to my old age he is he. Even to gray hair he will carry me. He made me and he will bear me. I do not have to be strong enough. I have to be held, and I am. I am seen. He was in the parking lot with the engine off. He was there at 2 in the morning. He was there when nobody asked me a second question. Nothing I have lived through happened where he could not see it. I am not alone with this. He said he would never leave me. He said it on a page about money, and he meant me to find it. I will take him at his word before I take my phone at its number. I declare over the people at my table this morning. I declare that my daughter is not lost to me. I declare that the quiet in this house is not the final word on it. I will make one call today that I have been putting off. I will let somebody see one true thing about how I am, not the whole thing. One true thing. There was a man who lay beside a pool for 38 years. 38 years of watching other people get in ahead of him, and on the day it changed, nobody was more surprised than he was. I do not know what my 38 years is. I know I am not the one keeping the score anymore. I declare that today has a good hour in it. I may not see it coming. I may not recognize it until tonight, but I will not decide before breakfast that today is already lost. I declare that this body is worth taking care of. I will make the call I have been moving, not because I am short on faith, because I have some. I declare that God is not embarrassed by me. None of them that trust in him shall be desolate. Desolate is a word for abandoned. I have been afraid. I have not been abandoned. I declare that what I owe is a fact about my circumstances. It is not a fact about me. Those two have never been written in the same ledger, and one of them has my name on it in God's own handwriting. It is not the number. I declare that the waiting has not been wasted. Something is being made in me that I cannot see yet. I will not call it nothing just because it is quiet. I declare that God has been in this kitchen longer than the debt has. He was here before the first payment, and he will be here after the last. I declare that I will open what is on that counter today. I will open it standing up, and I will still eat my dinner tonight. I declare that Jesus knows my name and says it out loud. He said a man's name in a street where nobody would use it. He will say mine in this kitchen where nobody is listening. Here is the one I came for. If the Son has made me free, then I am free indeed. Free indeed. Not free later. Not free at a zero balance. Not free when somebody tells me I am square. Free this morning, at this number, in this kitchen. I am free indeed. I am not what I owe. I have never been what I owe. I will not be what I owe at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now let it go quiet. I am held. I am named. I am not alone in this house, and that is enough to stand up on. One more thing before you stand up, and it is what you carry into the day. That is the hour. It went faster than the ones you spend awake at 2 in the morning. That is worth noticing on its own. Nothing about your circumstances changed in the last 60 minutes. The mortgage is the same. The statement is the same. Whatever is in that mailbox is already in there, and has been since yesterday. But you came into this kitchen carrying 2 things. I want you leaving with 1. Take the arithmetic with you. It is yours. It is real. You have been handling it, and you will handle it again today. Leave the other one here. Leave it on the table. If you find it back in your hands at 10 o'clock, set it down again. You will probably have to do that a few times today. That is not failure. That is what unlearning looks like at 61. You do not have to feel different in order to be different. Feelings are the last thing to move, and they usually move without announcing it. Now let me send you out. So go, and go blessed. May the God who went over that statement before you ever opened it, go with you into this day. May He be at the table when you sit down, and in the car when you turn the key. May He be steady in you at the hours you are dreading, and quiet in you at the ones you are not. May the number lose its voice somewhere between the driveway and the parking lot. May the name come off before noon. May somebody be kind to you for no reason at all today, and may you let them, instead of deflecting it the way you have learned to. May you get 1 hour you did not plan for, and may you notice it while it is still happening. And may the light that came down that hallway this morning find you here again tomorrow, in this chair, in that mug, less afraid than you were when you sat down. Father, keep her, all 16 hours of it. Keep her at the mailbox. Keep her on the drive home. Keep her at 9 tonight, when the house goes quiet and there is nobody left to be strong in front of. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, before you go, do one thing for me. Type a first name in the comments. Just the name, not the story, not the situation, not what happened to them. Only the first name of the person you are carrying this morning. Here is what happens to it. Somebody else is going to open this video on their own hard day and scroll and land on that name. And they will stop and pray for a stranger they are never going to meet. You will not find out who did it. They will not find out who you are. That is the whole arrangement. It has run that way for a long time now. Names with no explanation under them. Strangers praying for strangers at 5 in the morning in 4 different time zones over people they will never lay eyes on. It is the least complicated good thing I know of. And if you want tomorrow to start the way this one started, tap subscribe and turn the bell on. I am not asking you for a favor. I am asking you to come back. You do not owe me anything for this. You have enough of that. I get here before the sun does. I will leave a seat at this table for you. Tomorrow, we are praying for the person you are carrying, the one whose name you just typed in, the one you pray for far more than you ever pray for yourself. Come back and let somebody pray for them beside you. You will not be the only one holding it. Now put your feet flat on the floor. The mug is still warm. The light has reached the table leg by now. And this day has not asked you for one thing yet. You are named. You are held. You are free indeed. Go on now. The light is already on the floor.